Hi, this is Natalie Lander, voice of Kinsey, Tara Branford, Stargirl, and many others. You are listening to a W2M Net podcast. You can visit W2Mnet.com for other podcasts about entertainment, video games, sports, and wrestling. You are listening to Video Games to the Max.
Hello and welcome to another edition of Video Games to the Max. This is episode 267. I am your host, Sean Garmer, and here with me as always, Marc Morrison.
Howdy.
Well, we of course are the... go ahead, sorry.
I was going to say, I'm finally back with power, which is nice.
Well, yes, Marc didn't have power, which is one of the reasons why we didn't do it on the normal Friday night, Saturday-ish time. I was also very sick with diarrhea. I had a terrible headache. That did not get better for me until like Saturday night. And then I had to start my work schedule, and I was on spring break, and so it's not been great for me to be able to try to do that episode. But
yeah,
if you probably don't know, because I didn't have any time to announce it. It was one of those things we had decided. I think it was Wednesday night, I think, while I was at work. I was on Keith's show, Keith Mitchell, who was on our show. He has a show called Spectator Mode for the Outer Haven over there. And I was on his show I think he released it on Sunday at some point. He takes, it releases on YouTube whenever they put it out. And then he takes the audio one and takes a long time to edit it and do some stuff to it and then put it out for the podcast. So it's out there if you go subscribe to Spectator Mode, which you should. I mean, Keith's a great guy, and his cast and crew from the Outer Haven that are on the show are pretty cool as well.
Is Liquid Snake a part of that Outer Haven?
So I already got to talk about Keith doesn't talk about a lot of news like we do. He talks about some things, and then they talk about games they're playing like everybody does, and then if there's something, then they kind of discuss that. But so I did talk about some of the big news that we're going to talk about already on that show, which is interesting because it came out the day before Sony released their info, the official info. We were still going off the rumors at that point. So there will be a bit more of an impassioned speech at that end, because at that time we did not know some of the information that we know now. But that being said, before we get to that, I might as well go ahead and talk about the games we have been playing this week. I have gone further into Bravely Default 2. I beat another boss, got a few other jobs. I got to where I have the Beastmaster job now. I have not actually gotten to start leveling it up yet. I'm trying to get some jobs finished first before I do that one. So we'll see how much more grinding I have to do before I can start using that one. But that's been fun. I love the dungeon I had to go through to get to that boss. It was a marshy area with a cave area with a desert area all in one dungeon. So it was kind of cool. And still enjoying those characters and just the whole way the characters are drawn, and I love the art style, so it's terrific. And of course that battle system makes those battles fun regardless how much grinding you got to do. So definitely still enjoying my time with it. I need to get further, but we'll see how that goes. I've also played, I think, the first, 45 minutes of Narita Boy, which just came out on the 30th, and it's on Game Pass. So if you have that, you can try it out. And it is a side-scrolling platformer action game that is I guess I want to say maybe Genesis Nintendo pixel art. Not Nintendo.
So
pixel.
16-bit?
Yeah, but it looks better than that. I mean, it's the pixel art, but it's not. The characters definitely.
HD 16-bit?
Yeah, maybe. it's very, they definitely wanted they're inspired by Tron, obviously, if you look at that. It's all about, you're inside the computer and, like, the code has been invaded by this thing that looks like the devil, and now you have to go help the creator get his memories back, and you have a techno sword. And I had to start doing the podcast right before you get the techno sword. So I haven't actually gotten to do any combat. They decided to put all of the story at the beginning of the game. So it's, which is really weird, but sure, why not? So like all I've done is, walk around through, taking some elevators, walk through, some doors, and gotten a lot of exposition about the world from, oh my god, what's this? Well, I had the thing in front of me that had the thing's name that you're getting, and now I lost it. I don't know. Oh, here it is. The motherboard is the person that gives you all of the story, and that's the main person that helps you. You're apparently summoned from outside the source code. There's a hero code that they put in, and they get Narita Boy, and Narita Boy is supposed to save the world, I guess.
Story of my life.
Yeah, so
it sounds like Kid Chameleon, kind of.
Yeah, I mean it's interesting. Like, I love the world and the setting and everything. Just let's see once we get to the combat. But definitely should have more on that next week. And Outriders has been having problems, so haven't really gotten to play it now that it's released. But from all intents and purposes, everybody that has played, like Keith, who got a review copy, I chose not to go after that because I was like, why? I've got other things that I'm reviewing, and then just that's on Game Pass. I don't need to do that. Right. But yeah. So what have you been checking out here?
I've still been playing Everspace 2. That's fine. So I've been playing like 5 new games, kind of. I played Super Metroid Redesign, which is like a ROM hack of Super Metroid. Okay. It's fucked. Like, it's insanely hard. The physics are changed. Like, Samus, like, drops like a rock in air. Like, the falling gravity is like so much, like, more increased in this one than regular Metroid. And there's an area where you have to do, like, wall jumps. And I'm not great at those in the first place. Like, I find that, like, mechanic to be a little wonky. And in this one, it's like, you have to do, like, 6 wall jumps in a row, going, like, from, like, wall to wall. And I'm like, no. I did this, I tried it for like an hour, and I'm like, this is not fun.
So how are people getting through that if she has, like, no air?
They are better at Super Metroid, or they are using a, like, controller hack, or a controller, tool-assisted speedrunner, Like, there might be a way to do it. I got to, like, 3, and then it's just like, no, it's just, like, so hard to, like, pull off. And I think, oh man. I got Dirt 5 a while ago on PC, and I started finally playing it. It's boring. Like, I feel bad for Dirt.
Like, I mean, are those games, like, super entertaining, period? I mean, like, you know what it is, it's a racing game.
They used to be. Like, yeah, Dirt 2 and 3 were alright. Like, but Dirt 5, like, it kind of looks nice. And it runs really well on my computer. I'm actually kind of surprised, because I have a old computer now, where it's, 4 years old, but it runs really nice. Like, most of it plays fine, except it's just kind of boring. But there was one race type, I think it was Sprint, and you're in these, like, sprint cars that, like, they're, like, very small cars with a big wing on the top, and, like, it is impossible to do. Like, it's basically a big oval track, but the minute you go over 60 miles per hour, your car veers wildly to the left. And I tried to race it like 2 or 3 times, and I'm like, am I not getting something here? And I looked online, and there's like legions of forum posts about like this race is impossible. And I'm like, well, that's cool. So she ended into the rescue on that one. Yeah, like they were like, a lot of people are just like, oh, it's like the controls are impossible. Or like one guy was like, because on medium, the race, like the other race, like, that game is not difficult. Like, the racers are pretty fine, for the most part. But on that specific race type and track, they are, like, overly aggressive. Mm-hmm. And one guy was like, this is like medium. One guy's like, turn to very hard, because they get so aggressive, they just slam into the wall. And that happened a few times, not, like, all the time. Wow. But I was, that's funny. Like, So I just booted up Cheat Engine, found like the table for it, and like just for that race, I just hit like freeze all other racers like in place because like, well, if I can't like if the game's not even going to give me a fair shot, I'm not going to play by the rules either. Like,
nope, yeah, fair enough. Then.
The other two big things, or two or three. I went to an arcade last week, which had a bunch of Japanese crap. So I played some Taiko no Tosujin, the drum game.
Mm-hmm.
That's cool. I have a copy ordered for PS4 soon, which I'll be getting, hopefully.
No, I have the Switch game. It's very fun.
Yeah,
I don't have the drums. So
yeah,
I can't tell you that experience, but it's fun on controllers.
My copy is $200. It came with the drum, so
Nice.
that'll be cool. It's PS4, but it'll work on PS5. And I guess I can get the Switch version, and it can get like some weird adapter that like fools the
Did
Switch.
you get yours where like it can be in English? Or?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But which I need. Well, like I think the game auto defaults to like whatever language the system's on. Because like the arcade version, pretty impossible because it's all in Japanese. Like I'm like I kind of know how to play this, but this is not easy. The other two games I played this thing called Synchronica. It's a rhythm game. I think it's my Bandai Namco. It's basically a big touch screen, and you have to like. It's a rhythm game. You have to like tap your fingers in line with the beats. A circle will go in like a big ring, and you like tap it like right when it gets in the center. It's really colorful, really good, really fun. I wasn't a huge fan of the soundtrack. Like that was kind of actually the biggest disappointment. Like it barely even had any game soundtrack, like game music. It had like one song from Pac-Man, I think it was like Ridge Racer Type 4, and like some Katamari song, and that was about it. I think like maybe like one Ace Combat song. I'm like, this is not great. Like, but the game itself was good, and like the big touchscreen is like really nice and responsive. The big one though, and this is my secret shame, I played Theatrythm Final Fantasy All-Star Carnival.
Ah, yes, the arcade game that was made 2 years after the 3DS, the second 3DS game.
Yeah, and I really liked it.
Ah, see, it's good.
It helped. A few things help. One, it has a headphone, like a lot of the Japanese games have a headphone jack built in.
Mm-hmm.
So I was able to like plug in a pair of headphones and like actually listen to the music.
Yeah.
Because the arcade was very loud. Or, it was an arcade, so.
Well, no doubt, yeah.
It wasn't like, so the game was weird. First of all, me and the guy, like the arcade attendant, didn't know how to start it.
Well, yeah, it's all Japanese, right?
Well, no, some of this was in English, at least this part, but it was like, it didn't take quarters, or it didn't take yen. And, like, it also has a touch screen, like the main screen, and we were like pressing buttons and like trying to figure this out. And it has this as a weird credit card Nausicaa Pass looking thing, some type of like reader. But we didn't have that either. But there's a big Nausicaa button on the screen, and if you press that, you can like kind of add a credit to that, which is good. So yeah, the game has it's like two very small joysticks and then two buttons on the pad. And that's it. And yeah, the notes come at you. There's a 4-lane highway of notes, and they come at you, and
that's
notes,
for the battle mode, yeah, for the battle one. So
yeah, this only had a battle mode, I think. So the game, I don't think it's been updated. This one is all Japanese too, except for like the Nausicaa mode or whatever button. So like, I recognize like the game title was in English, but that was about it. Like I could read like Final Fantasy 7 or Final Fantasy 4. Everything was maxed out. And I mean like everything. Like you could add like items to your characters, and I'm like, I guess I'll add all because I have 99 of each. Like it's not doing anything different. And like the only thing different was like the summon bar would like really refill very quickly. Like I would like summoning monsters like every like 30 seconds in a song. But yeah, I really liked it. It had a good soundtrack. It wasn't the most up-to-date version, because I guess with that one you can like download new songs, and I doubt the American arcade owner did that.
Yeah, I mean, like they released a bunch of DLC for the second game that didn't even have to do with Final Fantasy. There was
this had that too. This had like a whole like Square games, and like I think even a few Enix games also.
Yeah.
I looked on some video, and there was like Nier Automata songs, and I'm like, oh man, This one did not have
so
that.
they definitely
That would have been great.
added in different stuff there for that then.
But yeah, it was actually a lot of fun. I spent like 45 minutes in that thing, and I'm probably the only person who's ever played it, like, because no one else can probably figure it out.
Yeah, I mean, those games are so fun on the 3DS, so I can only imagine it's even more fun on the arcade.
It's kind of a shame, 'cause, like, that would be a really good Switch game.
I'm surprised that they have not, like, Square, with all their infinite, I mean, I get it that they like to, make that extra gotcha stuff which I forgot to mention that they're gonna have gotcha stuff in the Ever Crisis game.
Yeah.
Which sucks, because everybody thought that was gonna be free, and nope, they found a way to put random weapon gotcha in that Ever Crisis game. So, I mean, they like doing that, so it's hard for me to see, like, where they would just, I mean, but I get, they're doing it with, whatchamacallit, with, Well Done's With You. That's gonna be a new game. I'm really surprised, like, it's, with this 25th anniversary of Final Fantasy VII coming up next year, I would hope that maybe this is something on the docket that they've been thinking of. It's just, like, because these games were on 3DS, you don't get that, like, vocal community that you would have, I think, if it was on Wii U or something like that. So, hopefully, at some point they think about, let's make a Switch version where you can get even more songs than you can on the other two. So.
Right. Or if not Switch, PS4. I mean, why not? Or PS5, I should say.
Yeah, they could. Yeah, they could do that. They could put it on Switch and PS4. I mean,
yeah.
Obviously, I mean, it's weird that they never put these on. They never made these for the Vita, with as much as they supported the Vita as well. But yeah, I mean, this would be the time. They could put it on all three because they put Kingdom Hearts on all three. So why not?
Right. Yeah. But yeah, that was my secret shame. I'm like, wow, I actually kind of like this Theatrythm thing.
Well, I mean, I don't know how much they're going for now, but you could always.
Well, I don't have a 3DS, so that might be an issue.
Oh, you don't have a 3DS, okay.
I actually looked into, like, ordering not ordering, but just, how much a Theatrythm arcade game would cost.
Oh, Lord, really? I'm sure that was a bunch of money.
They were pretty hard to find. Like, I couldn't really find one, like, readily available, let's say. I should have asked the arcade guy how much his was going to sell for. I have to imagine, not a big seller. Like,
yeah, I mean, there's probably some people that don't even know that exists.
Yeah.
Unless you're, like, into that, you have no idea.
Yeah, I saw it immediately. I'm just like, hey, I didn't know that was an arcade game. I was like, oh, cool.
If you had not put out that teaser on Twitter, I would have had no idea that even existed, so.
Right. Yeah, I didn't know either. I mean, I knew there are other, like, Japanese arcade games. Like, they had, like, Luigi's Mansion there again. That's still fun. But yeah, I was like, oh, okay.
That is cool that you guys have that there. I have no idea if Miami even has one of those.
Yeah.
That would even have,
I think
like, Japanese stuff.
Yeah. It was like, this arcade had, like, 22 pinball machines, a few, like, rider machines, like, Cruisin' Extreme and some other ATV thing. And then, like, the other side is dominated by, like, Japanese stuff and, like, shooter, like, sit-down shooter games.
Okay. Well,
yeah.
I mean.
The funniest thing is they had this, like, weird, have you ever gone to, like, a Dave & Buster's recently?
Yeah, not recently, but.
But there's a Star Wars Battle Pod arcade game. It's like this, like, sit-down shooter game that you can, like, it looks like a little pod thing that you can get in, and it, like, blows a fan at you, and it's like, it's pretty good. It's like a projection game. But this one is from Japan, and this one is funny because, like, the second you start it up, it goes, like, this game is not meant to be sold outside of Japan. And it's like, what? Oh, well.
Well.
Like, it's all in English, but except for, like, some weird Japanese menu options.
Yeah, that kind of always happens at some point. Somebody has to.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's cool that people get to, experience that, so.
Yeah, this place had, like, 4 or 5 other Japanese, like, rhythm games, including, I've seen it before, but, Groove Coaster.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. And yeah, it was pretty good.
Well, hey, there you go. You had a cool, and, like, is this far from you, or?
It's about 40 minutes away, but the nice thing is, it's, you just pay to get in. It's like $20, and you can play all day.
Oh, wow, that's cool. I mean.
And you can, like,
it's not like David Buster's where they went to nickel and dime.
No, that place, like, rapes you.
Yeah, definitely.
This this place also you can like leave and come back. Like you just get like a wristband, so you know if you want to go out and get like dinner or lunch or something, you can feel free.
Oh yes, well that's good. Yeah, because the Dave & Buster's feeding you is they.
It's like it's like that, and then also it's like pay 9 tokens for this game or like 9 credits, and it's like if I do the math in this thing, it's like $1.50, and it's like that's not great. Like
nope. Okay. Well, anything else that you?
No, I got my platinum in Persona 5 Strikers. That's about it.
There you go. Oh, that's cool. You got a platinum of Persona 5 Strikers.
Yeah.
That review should be coming shortly, I'd imagine.
Yeah, I'm working on it.
Okay. Well, now that we've gotten through all the talking about the games we're playing, let's talk about stuff that is happening. Now let's get out through this quickly because this stuff, you can find it anywhere. But Xbox games for Gold and PS Plus, which PS Plus technically is unavailable for another couple of days, because they like to wait till the last minute. And sometimes PS Plus.
I actually don't mind that because in case you forget, it gives you a good reminder to get the games last minute.
Oh yeah, I did that last time I was at the house. I was like, oh, let me grab these really quick, before I forgot. So PS5, we knew already what that game was going to be because they announced it at the last Sony State of Play, Oddworld Soulstorm. So that game is new, and you're going to get it for PS5. The end date, that is April 6th. And then the PS4 game, which is for PS4 owners only, pretty much, because you already get it on the PS Plus collection if you have a PS5. Date's gone, and a game you should pick up, Zombie Army 4 Dead War. I've heard nothing but good things about this game, so you definitely should pick that up. You can get that on the PS4 and PS5 as well. And then here we go with the Xbox games for Gold, which really at this point they seriously need to.
It's a joke.
Yeah. Well, some of this is not. Like Dark Void is actually a really good game. I like Dark Void. So I would definitely suggest picking that. That's the 360 game, I think.
Yeah.
And Hardcore Uprising is actually pretty decent as well. I would. That's on the second half of the month. The other 360 game. Vikings Wolves of Midgar. I have no idea.
Nope.
What that is.
No clue. Yeah.
That's your Xbox One game. And Truck Racing Championship is the other one. So I'm not surprised you're not. You like those truck racing things, so.
No, I don't.
No. Well, you like that Euro Truck Simulator and all that?
Yeah, but that's not racing. That's just trucking.
Yeah.
That's why it's a better game.
Well, speaking of old games, this was a big deal last week. It is still being talked about now. Of course, also goes concurrent with a few other things that Xbox did this week as well. Sony is going to be shutting down the PS3, PSP, and Vita online stores after a certain date, which for the PS3 and PSP is July 2nd. You will no longer be able to purchase any game from the console store because they already, for some stupid reason, shut down the web store instead of waiting to shut it all down at one time.
Yeah.
Let me tell you, the probably reason why is that they don't want people that don't have these consoles to buy games, so then they have to go honor a bunch of accounts that didn't exist.
But the counter to that would be they're making them make money, so why not keep them up?
And I was like, the thing that bothers me is like, look, the PS3 is really slow. And like, I have heard from a lot of people that, and I remember the last time I tried to buy something, a lot of times the store closes on itself before you can even buy anything.
Yeah.
Or you have to try the transaction like 3 or 4 or 5 different times before it finally goes through. And it's like, dude, that would have been so much easier if you just left the damn web store up. And then if you're going to shut it all down, why not put the web store up again? And then shut it all down when you're going to shut it down. It's like, it's like I get it that they probably knew this was coming, but it's like, and I get the whole point is at this point, they probably don't really care if you go and buy more PS3 games or PS2 or PS1 games again. Right. They just want to get rid of the damn storage space and store. And I don't know. I mean, their reasoning on the PS blog was the weirdest thing. Like, what is it that in order to like help further the PS4 and PS5? Man, why didn't I have this ready? Like, they have this weird. I just like now when you look it up, it doesn't give you the Sony official PS blog thing. It shows the like somebody else's news on it. But seriously, it's really just not.
It's to focus our resources on PlayStation, PS4, and PS5, which will enable us to enhance the customer experience even further. It's like,
What
no.
is that? What is even that? Like, that is nothing. That's a whole bunch of word salad. So, okay. And then the Vita is closing down on August 27th, I should know. So I never had a PSP or Vita, so those two don't really matter to me personally. The PS3...
I know Jens is crying in his room somewhere about it.
The PS3 I actually did not pick up until I got it used a year after I got the PlayStation 4. So I never experienced anything involving the PS3 during its actual lifetime. Everything I experienced with the PS3 was after. Or with games that were then ported to PS4.
I got a PS3 pretty late. But
yeah,
I got mine like, I don't know, 2012, 2013. Might have been 2012, I think. But I got like the 60 gigabyte used, like, launch model.
Right, yeah, you got the fat one that can do the backwards compatible, right? So I got the slim. I still have it. I'm gonna think about, I guess, whenever next time over there, I'm gonna connect it and see if there is anything that I want. I know I had already gotten a ton of PS1 classic stuff before, whenever they had sales, and I would pick it up. The thing that I didn't get to talk about on Keith's show was that at the time, the Gamer, who was the only company or the only, like, source on this, for, like, the longest time, which made people, the Gamer has become like, one of those, like, VGC that have really risen up the ranks of, like, websites for gaming. They had that story on Techland, and, between Cian Maher and, I'm sorry if I'm saying your name wrong, sir, and Kirk, McCrean, both of them have done great pieces, and I think Kirk was the one that did this one, and, like, seriously, I don't blame people for wanting to just, this is a rumor, and I don't want to believe it, and I don't want to believe that Sony doesn't care about backwards compatibility or whatever, but honestly, look, that quote that always gets pulled from Jim Ryan about going to the event and seeing Gran Turismo, that's a terrible, like, seriously, why Gran Turismo of all things? Like, I know you went to an event honoring the games or whatever, but it's like, if you're sports games are the worst thing to judge, like, backwards compatibility on. It's like...
Well, yeah, sports and racing, but yeah.
Yeah, I bet those are games that are, like, come out often. Like, you're not gonna want to go back, for the most part, unless it's something like, Cruisin' USA, or Daytona, or whatever, like, or Mario Kart, like, stuff like that that's very arcadey, that's very special in its own way. Like, going back and playing Gran Turismo 1 or 2 or whatever, you're probably not going to do that. You're going to play the latest one that was pretty decent. Like, as much as Forza Horizon 3, it sucked that it was taken off because of licensing things. Like, most people are probably fine that you can play Forza Horizon 4.
I would say Forza's like that, but as far as that Gran Turismo goes, I would actually rather play the old games than the new ones.
Right, I get it. It's like, the new ones haven't been good, especially like Sport or whatever, but like, I'm just saying, his whole deal was, why would you want to play these old games that look terrible? Like,
that's just a businessman who doesn't get it, or, not a fan of actual video games.
But here's the thing though, like, okay, cool that the PS5 actually makes these PS4 games better, but it's like, you're not even trying to do what Microsoft does with the 360 and Xbox games, where they make them look better. What if you did that and then look at it and tell me that it still looks bad or whatever? It's just, I get it. Sony doesn't want to invest money there and all that, but at least you can still download the games you own.
Think about, like, trying to pretty up, like, original Forza Motorsport, which is original Xbox game from, like, 2004, I think, or 2003, versus Gran Turismo, which was a generation before then. Like, that was like 97. Like, you can do it a little, but at a certain point, you're done. Like, you can't fix it up any further.
Oh, no, definitely. I get it. Like,
it was funny because when this was announced, the other Sean, Comer, he was, like, messaging me, like, asking how he can, like, replace his PS3 digital, or PS3 battery, and I was like, this only affects digital games. Like, physical ones will always still work.
Yeah, but you can't use it on your PS4 or PS5.
No.
So,
No,
like...
I meant for his PS3. Like, he still has a PS3 hooked up, so...
Right, but what I'm saying is, if that PS3 ever dies,
Oh, yeah.
you have to go buy another one, you know, or whatever. So,
but,
like...
I mean, this has happened numerous times before. Like, the Xbox 360 is still up, but that's only because Xbox Live, like, is still relatively the same.
Well, that's also because they put it into the same ecosystem now. So you can buy all those games.
Well, yeah, but it's not every Xbox 360 game is available or backward compatible.
No, it's not. I'm saying,
I thought it was funny. There was some picture, I think, a few days ago about, like, new Xbox 360 games on Game Pass. And it's like, oh, you can play original Xbox games on Game Pass also. And it's like one game is Morrowind. And I'm like, that's not like a ton of original Xbox games.
Yeah, I think it's like 16% of the back catalog or whatever.
For like original Xbox, it's like, I think it's like 40 out of 500 games.
Yeah.
I looked it up. And like, they only sell like 40 digital original Xbox games. And it's like, what? Like, you think...
I mean, to be fair, Jason Ronald has been... See, this is what I'm saying. Like, again, it's the whole transparency thing, right? Like, would Sony have even said anything if the gamer didn't come out and make this a big story? Who knows? What I'm saying, the fact that, like, you don't have a spokesperson. Like, Xbox has, like, 4 people that come out and say something when there's a thing that happens. Right? Like, Sony has no one, other than when Jim Ryan wants to give an interview to somebody, when it's, like, to his behest, and when it's something that he cares about. When it's something that he doesn't care about, like backwards compatibility, he says nothing, or nobody else says anything. Like, where's Shuhei? Where's somebody else? Like, that's what I'm saying, though. Phil Spencer, Aaron Greenberg, Jason Ronald.
You know who they should get? Well, the 2 people that come to mind for Sony, they should bring back Kevin Butler, like the actor who played him.
Yeah.
Or they should get Wade Barrett.
Wade Barrett would be great.
And then you can just say, I got some bad news for you.
Have you seen the picture of, like, the meme that I'm seeing now of, like, how Don Matrick turns into Jim Ryan slowly or whatever? Seriously, I wonder sometimes if they just inhabited a different body, because it's weird that no one can come out and go, hey, don't worry, you'll see these games again. Like, I know everybody's wishing that this stuff shows up on PS Now. But, like, and I know there are games on there are PS3 games, there are PS2 games. I think
but they're negligible, or it's such a small
and they're
amount.
stream only, right? The PS3 games are stream only. You can't download those.
Yeah.
Right?
See,
so,
here's the thing about this that ultimately I kind of come up with. The PSP is completely broken open from a pirate standpoint.
Yeah.
The Vita is not far behind, and neither is the PS3. So,
but see, like Vita and PSP, you can play those on most computers with no problems.
Yeah, emulator.
Like,
but even the PS3 emulator is not that bad. Like, it's pretty good actually.
Is it? Is it pretty good? Okay, I haven't tried a PS3 emulator.
It's like I think it's called like RPC3 or RCP3, something like that.
Yeah.
But it can play like Metal Gear Solid 4 just fine.
Okay, because I remember PS2, the PS2 one had a lot of different games that like just wouldn't work, or you had to change the settings a lot for it to work. Or...
It's a RPCS3, that's right. But like, yeah, it has a pretty good compatibility list.
Okay, well, I mean, that's good.
But I mean, I just mean like from a console perspective, like if this happens, well, when this happens, and like there's some game that like I can only play digitally, I just forgot to buy it or I can't buy it, I'll jailbreak my PS3, download the executable somewhere, I'm sure I can find it somewhere, and load it up and install it, and it'll be A-okay.
Right, but it's like, it's still from a game preservation standpoint.
Yeah.
It's like...
But also, like, I mean, I do get that, and I'm not against that at all, but also, like, when was the last time you turned on a PS3?
I don't. Okay, the reason why I don't is because my PS3 is sometimes it acts funny and decides it wants to sound like a jet where it looks like it sounds like it's going to explode.
That's my point. Yeah, it's exactly like
that's part of the reason why I don't. It's because I don't want it to wind up exploding. So, like, I just don't want to go and try to find another PS3 because now I don't even know if GameStop even has those in stores anymore.
In stores, no, but you could probably order it online or...
Yeah, well, I mean, now I'm sure people are going nuts trying to buy one of those.
Yeah.
like just to be able to download things. And that's the thing too. Like that was the last console that you could buy PS1 and PS2 classics on. They had a lot of them. Like
wow, GameStop has sold out of PS3s entirely.
Yeah, that because people are going nuts buying them now.
Yeah,
and I'm sure they're going for a lot on eBay now too. And the moment that these stores close, all those physical versions of those games are going to go up insane prices. To the point where it's not worth buying them unless you just want to pay that money. Just like what happened with Mario All-Stars, which I did buy. I have not played it at all.
I bought Fire Emblem.
Yeah, I bought the Fire Emblem too. I have not touched that either.
The funny thing about that is I already have like the collector's edition of that, so I have like a key code, like a scratch off ticket, but I'll never use it probably.
Well, can you still put it in? I thought
you can.
Okay.
They said that they did say that, like, if you have that thing, that code will always work as long as there's a Switch store, which means like 15 more years and then it's over.
We'll see, because Nintendo was saying that they were going to do the Disney Vault thing to the point where they were going to recall them from the store, the Mario All-Stars.
Yeah.
So, let's see if that actually, I haven't seen anybody report it yet, but we'll see if that actually happens.
Wow. Like, I'm looking at GameStop's website, and they're sold out of Xbox 360s also, and they only have, like, 2 Xbox One for sale, like, console, like, used console varieties.
The 360, that's so surprising, I guess.
And they're sold out of PS4s.
Oh, probably because at some point they just stopped taking them.
I would say probably because, the pandemic and people want a game, and they don't, I've seen that at a ton of stores, like, used stores around here, like, they don't have systems in at all. Like, they'll get like a system in, and then like an hour later it'll be gone. Like, I went to one store, and the guy was like, I asked him, and he was like, oh yeah, like before the pandemic we had like 75 Xbox 360s in. And I'm like, how about now? He's like, none. And I'm like, okay.
I mean, I guess this helped GameStop a ton. Unless he got rid of our back stock.
Yeah.
And then also people not being able to find the PS5s and
that also
Series
helps.
X's and Series S, all that too, doesn't help. I mean, we had talked about it off air, I think, also that, I mean, yes, this did happen with the Wii.
Yeah. Even the original Xbox, like, you can't go online with that thing anymore. And it did have kind of a nascent Xbox Live store, but that you can't download anything for that anymore.
Yeah, but I mean, like, okay, let's say the PS2. Like, the PS3 and the 360 were really the first consoles that had a lot of digital-only content. So, like, and of course, now you lost any DLC that you buy for that, unless you buy it now or already bought it. But it's like, there's a lot of stuff that can just get lost to the ether now.
Yeah.
And that's what's sad, is that, like, as far as we know, unless Sony just pulls a rabbit out of their hat, which again, I think that's more people wishing than actually gonna happen here, is, and that's the thing that, what worries me more is, when is Sony gonna pull the trigger on, oh hey, those games that you own? Yeah, that download list is gonna go away on this date. Right now you have a download list, you can download it for the foreseeable future, but how long does that last?
See, I think it'll last a while, because there's no real, like the store, they probably have to maintain, like, credit card payments or like a payment system.
Right.
Some hard drive, in the back room of a server, like, they don't care. Or, as long as it doesn't go down, that'll be up forever, probably.
Yeah, I mean, let's hope that it's like that you don't lose.
And then, but again, like, I think, like, as far as, not Sony, but like, as far as like Steam goes, or like Valve, they've always said, like, if something catastrophic happened to, like, Valve and they, like, shut down, like, the next day, for some reason, they would, like, release some tool, or there's some tool that they have that, like, you'd always still be able to, like, get your games. Yeah,
but see, that's the cool thing about Steam. Like, all of that is there. It doesn't matter how old it is.
Right.
Like, you still have access to it. Like, the thing that sucks about, like, at least with Xbox, obviously, if you lose the disc to a game that's not backwards compatible, then, that's what it is. It is what it is. Like, all physical media at some point, you run the risk of it just not working anymore or whatever. Especially with discs. But, like, digital stuff, that's the way you're supposed to be preserving things, right? And, like, games, it just feels like we're not at that point. I mean, other than Microsoft, like, which, they're even doing the thing of putting old games on phones to work on your phone and work on other things. So like Sony's is not doing that at all, and then Nintendo, obviously, they're in their own world. Like they did not ever care about making one virtual console and then bringing that over every time. They made you redo it every single time, and then make the 3DS and Wii U one separate completely, which was so weird. It's like you guys act like they're not even the same company that makes those things. Like, what's wrong with you?
Yeah.
Like, and then now Nintendo's basically just throwing any freaking game they can against the wall, hidden behind their service, which to be fair doesn't cost a lot, but still, so it's like, I don't know. This is the thing is so funny. Like, I never thought you'd say Microsoft would be the leader in backwards compatibility when they have way less stuff that you would say people want to really go back and I want to go play this compared to Nintendo and Sony.
Wait, you don't want to play Draco and 99 Dragons in the original Xbox? Or BMX Triple X?
Hell no, the BMX Triple X. That thing can go down a fire. Like, whatever, I guess. But, like, this is a thing that it's one of those that just really bugs me. I hate seeing this. It's not great. Like, look, honestly, I get it. For Sony, they see the writing on the wall of like nobody's buying PS3 games.
Right.
And the Vita is very difficult for you to, because the memory cards are exorbitant prices, and
I mean, it's funny because like people always say like, oh, Sony didn't support the Vita, and it's like, well, people didn't buy the Vita, so that's kind of the issue. Like, people bought it kind of now, or it kind of became like an in vogue thing like later on, but at that point it's a little too late.
I think it's also because they had the two SKUs, the one that worked on 3G, which didn't really work.
That's what I have, I think. But yeah, I mean, it doesn't matter to me either way. But or people still developing like Vita games, and it's like,
yep.
I mean, I guess, but like, there's such a niche market for that thing. Like, I saw
was it Colin? What can't I think of his name now? Colin from the Last Stand folks, was kind of funny in IGN. Lily Mo Games, they had to cancel their last Vita game because they were not told about the Vita store closing at all, and that they had just purchased a second Vita dev kit like last month, and that there was no way they were going to reach the August 27th date before they could put it out.
Yeah.
So,
and I see people going like, well, they're still making like, I mean, they're coming out with like Sega Genesis and Super Nintendo games, like new ones now.
Yeah, and the Game Boy games that are.
Yeah, I was like, because it doesn't rely on it's, a digital storefront, so it's just material costs.
Well, it's also like they're coming out and they're also showing up on Steam. I mean, it's not like they're just showing up on those consoles.
No, there's a few that are just on, like, there's some weird Genesis game called like Paraparum or something like that. Yeah. It's like been in development for like years. But, or Paprium, that's it. And like, yeah, it's just only on the Sega Genesis.
No. I mean, listen, again, this is, like Mark said, this is not the only story it's happened to, but it's like, this feels like, this is why everybody gets mad about digital, right? Because
it's the first big one, because, like, I mean, the Wii had games, but it's not, the Wii, like, no one cared about the Wii's digital storefront that much. Or they weren't like selling like full ass games in that thing, I would think. It was like virtual console and then like Wii exclusives, like I have like some weird Pokemon game for that thing.
Yeah, I mean a lot of people were still buying physical.
Yeah.
In the Wii period. And like there
so
was so much shovelware also on the Wii.
Right.
That the PS3 and 360 were the first consoles that people really started, okay, I'm gonna get a lot of my stuff digitally.
But not really, because like neither system had that built in at launch. Like that came
not
later.
at launch, but like as time went on, when like indie games started becoming a bigger thing and all that, like that's when people said, okay, let's start accepting that. And of course, obviously the PS4 and Xbox One generation, that's when it really went. Okay. Now we have most of the console makers and most of the publishers are all reporting 50% of their games are being bought digitally now. So, and then there's obviously so many games that come out now that it's the only way you can play it digitally. It's, so, again, I'm not holding my breath at all that Sony will surprise with at E3 or something with, oh, hey, a lot of these games are coming to PS now and whatever, and we're going to make it downloadable so you don't have to stream and use our terrible streaming technology.
I don't think Sony will, but I think, pirates and other hackers you'll always be able to play a copy of, Trash Panic somehow.
Yeah, I mean, there's quite a few, like Tokyo Jungle, go get that now.
But that's actually physical. Like you can get, it's in Japanese, but there's like a physical copy.
Right, but the reason why I'm saying people should go buy all your games you want to buy now is because the physical copies of these games are going to go to exorbitant prices. Because people can do it because you no longer have a way to buy them any other way. So, just that's what I would say is if you're holding off for that secondhand market, and especially if you're someone that doesn't have a bunch of stores around you like Marc, and you're having to rely on eBay and Amazon and all that, I would definitely, if you have a PS3, go into your PS3 right now and buy whatever the heck it is you want between now and July because I'm telling you, the prices are gonna get nuts for this stuff. And there's games that are locked on that console that still have not.
Yeah.
I wonder if this is all also to try to see if they can make a PS3 collection with a bunch of games that had never been ported onto the PS4 or whatever.
It depends. I'm sure there are a few games that are just hard to port because of that stupid cell processor.
Yeah, but I'm surprised we have not had an Infamous, full Infamous collection on.
Well, Infamous, Resistance, original God of War 1 and 2, Ratchet and Clank, because early games. They did the first one, but 2 and 3, and I think 4. Yeah,
and then Metal Gear Solid 4, which who knows?
That's That's really the big one for me.
Yeah.
It doesn't need to be on PS5. It doesn't really matter. But I at least want a Windows version of that game.
Yeah, it's funny because apparently the Days Gone that's on PS4 and PS5 does not have the advancements that was made for the PC version, or that's going to be made for the PC version.
Nier Automata is the same way. They made a PC version originally, but they ported that to the Xbox Game Pass thing, and they used a different porting house, and they did a much better job.
Yeah.
So the people on Steam are pissed. They're like, "Wait, this game is barely working on." It worked fine for me actually, but PC players always bitch about something. So they're like, "Why don't we get the good version?" Or why didn't this?
No, but I see a lot of PS4 players that are complaining about, not only did you give these games to PC, but they got the better versions. Why? And then this is happening, and then also the announcement today, which is another big grab for, and I'm telling you, I said it when Outriders was coming out. I'm not the only one saying it, but MLB The Show 21. Now, okay, here's the thing, and I know there's a lot of people that were getting upset today and have no idea, and they're blaming Sony, and it has nothing to do with Sony. MLB publishes the game on other systems that are not PlayStation. So Microsoft made the deal with MLB, not Sony. Did Sony know about it? Probably. Did Sony get a say in it? No. So, they're doing the smart thing. MLB has to grow an audience on the Xbox. So why not give it to people for $15 a month and let them try it out? And then guess what? Any baseball lovers are going to see that game and they're going to go, "Oh my god, a baseball game on Xbox? Let me get this thing." And then if they like it, guess what? They'll buy it the next year. The next year after that, I bet next year it won't be on Game Pass. It'll do like the EA Play thing, where it'll show up on Game Pass months later after the season's mostly over, when nobody cares. So that's my point. Is everybody getting mad at Sony and saying Sony just gave away one of their games, whatever? Sony gave away their game when they agreed to this new deal. Now, granted, the MLB basically forced their hand and said, "You better do this, or we're just going to take the license away." But this is a big thing, I think, for Microsoft in that it's a Sony developed game showing up on your console, or on your consoles. I don't know.
Yeah, this has happened before with like Sony or Xbox and Nintendo, and they're, even like once a company's been bought, like it's always a strange.
Well, yeah, but I mean, like my Minecraft thing is not, to me, not that. It was already out there.
Right.
But, I mean, that's the thing, right? It's that whole of, well, if you're on PlayStation right now, you're paying $70 for this game. If you're playing on Xbox, you get it for free or $15 or $10, whatever.
So Sony should have just said, screw up Xbox. If you want a baseball game, bring back Inside Pitch.
Yeah, I remember the baseball, MVP baseball or whatever. Like, I mean, what do you think about this thing? Like, do you think people should be mad? Like, do you have a right to be mad if you're a Sony, only a PlayStation owner? Like, right now?
No. I mean, cause like I think that's kind of the rule. It's like, that's definitely the rule with like Madden. Like, Madden's a big one, but I think technically like Microsoft or Sony could make a football game, like with the license.
Like their first party. You just can't, like 2K can't make a football game.
Right. Cause there's like the good ones, so. I mean, I don't really see the issue personally, cause I don't care about baseball. Like, so yeah, it's just, I mean, I don't think it'll be like a huge, that's the thing, I don't think it'll be like a huge system seller.
No, I don't think it's a huge system seller. I do think this is good for people that are baseball fans that maybe didn't know this game existed at all because maybe you didn't have a Sony system, or...
Well, like,
yeah.
I mean, believe me, if those people, like, the show is the only game in town, literally, because, like, no one was buying that MLB 2K series, so...
Right, to the point where they stopped making it.
Yeah, it wasn't like 2000, I thought like the last one was like 2K7, I think, on like PC for some reason, but, yeah. I mean, I guess that's what happens when you have an exclusive first-party developer making it basically a licensed game that wants it to be on everything.
Yeah, I mean...
Like, could you imagine if like, Xbox was like, we want to make the only, went to 2K and was like, we want, the Xbox to be the only platform for WWE games. Sony would be like, have at 'em. Go ahead.
WWE game, I bet they did that with NBA. They said no.
Yeah.
Like, so, this is a big deal, but I think we're not done here. Like, we're gonna see this more. We're gonna see Microsoft spending money to bring these big third-party games. Well, it's technically not third-party, but like these games that are coming to both consoles to make people have to make that choice in their head, to make them make that decision of, man, what do I do? Do I get a Series S and get Game Pass to save me some money in the long run? Or do I just go ahead and bump the $70 down and stay on my system? And that's what they want to do. They want to be disruptive right now. And I think that's good. It makes Sony have to do something. Will Sony do anything? Will they put it on PS Plus for May? And, I don't know if they refund people in the first 10 days or what they do, but like, I don't think they can put it on PS Now because PS Now is not that kind of thing.
Right.
Like, and that's another service that you now have to buy. So it's like, at least PS Plus, most people have it, so I don't know. I mean, could they do it and like say, oh, here's an extra game for PS Plus if people keep complaining about it? I guess they could, but will they? I don't know.
Part of that, free game initiative, like with
PlayStation
The Witness and all that other crap.
Yeah. They could, PlayStation Home, or what's that called?
Like Play at Home, or
Play at Home, Play at Home, exactly. So it's like, they could do that.
That'd be pretty funny.
I don't see them doing that, but
yeah.
I don't know. I just think people like need to also calm down a little bit and just understand this is going to happen more, and you're going to have to just deal with it. That there's nothing wrong with owning both consoles. I get it that they cost money, but that's just the way it is. You're going to have to make a decision, and it doesn't mean that Sony's terrible because they didn't do that. Sony doesn't have to do that right now. Microsoft is running behind. They need to do this stuff.
Yeah.
Vote with your wallet. Make those posts about how I'm selling my PS5, or hey, I'm getting a Series S and now I'm gonna go get a Game Pass subscription that I didn't have before. Like, there's nothing wrong with having both consoles, nothing wrong with supporting both. Like, I get it that this was something that was only on Sony and you're mad and all that stuff, but this was something that could happen. when MLB made that deal, and it did. So,
but I imagine the next round or contract negotiations, Sony will lock it back up.
No, I don't. I don't think so, because
I think they will, because they'll say, if we don't lock this back up, we're not going to make this game anymore. And then MLB's
not screwed. They can give it to somebody else to make it.
Yeah, but it will be as good.
Maybe not, but it'll still sell because it has the MLB name on it. It's not like RBI.
I would say definitely not. That's the thing.
But that's the thing. They're first party, right? Because you still have RBI baseball getting made. Now, granted, I think this is sell as well because you have the show. But it's like, if MLB was able to force their hand to make it multi-platform, where does Sony get to force their hand afterwards? They already did it. They already made it multi-platform. They can't really go backwards after that. Sony could just say they don't want to make it anymore, right? They could close San Diego studio down.
That's what I mean. Yeah. If they can't it doesn't matter. I mean, they haven't even said if they care or not. But if they cared about the exclusivity, they could go to MLB and go, "Hey, the next contract, it's only on Sony platforms." And if you don't want to buy that, I just don't see them doing that, though. Well, I mean, look at Madden on the Dreamcast.
We're looking at two different things here, because that's third party, and then Madden has made it to where they do not they don't let EA even listen, EA gets a bunch of money from the NFL. The NFL could have told them the same thing, and they chose not to.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I said, I just think, if they care, I think they can always say, "Hey, we don't want to make this anymore," and then MLB is screwed. What are they going to do?
They can't do that in the middle of the contract. They would have to wait till the end of the contract.
Like I said, at the end of for the contract renewal.
Right. I just don't think Sony would, because that's money they're giving up. They still get a part of that sale.
Yeah.
On Xbox. It's not like they don't.
It's the same thing Sony, they co-developed the Blu-ray drive. It's not like,
or
Xbox
Microsoft gets a sale from anybody that buys Minecraft on any system right now.
Yeah.
It's just, that's how that works. But hey, whatever, that's a cool thing. I think this is going to keep happening. So we'll see what happens. Speaking of, before we get on to other Microsoft possible things that could happen, let's talk about Grammarly. I'm using Grammarly right now while we are using this doc to talk about what's happening on this show, of the editing things that Marc put in this doc to make sure it's spelled correctly, or make sure it has a good sentence structure. Or Grammarly just does it itself. It tells you, which is what's cool about Grammarly. You should definitely check it out if for some reason you don't use it. And if you're listening at all and you're a student, you definitely need to have it, because I know when you write those papers, which I don't miss at all, but I know Randy tells me about when he's writing those papers that Grammarly helps with a lot of different things. So whether it is just putting that extension, that browser extension in your browser and downloading it, if you use our link, which is, man, I always have this thing ready in it. Whatever. It's getgrammarly.com/WTM network. If you use that link, whether it's you use the browser extension, that helps us. If you go and actually use the special offer that's available on that link, that helps us even more. So if you want to support your pals here, it'd be awesome if you did. And, just help us. Just give us a little bit of, your time to sign up. And let us know. You know what? You can email us, WTNetwork@gmail.com. Hit me up at WTMSean at HumanityPlay for Marc at W2 Network. Let us know if you actually use that link. That'd be cool.
Yep.
But moving on, Microsoft. This is one of the things that I talked about on Keith's show as well. Microsoft is possibly, maybe, who knows, going to acquire Discord. Bloomberg is claiming that Discord has been trying to court buyers for a bit now, and that Microsoft is potentially one of those buyers.
Let me ask you, is there any possible way this actually turns out well for Discord?
Discord gets money, dude. What do they care?
I meant for the actual product, the program or the service.
For the actual product, I think now it will be. I think the problem, so Microsoft's been they tried to buy TikTok, they tried to buy Pinterest. Those two things didn't work. But I think with Discord, it gives them a lot of the stuff that Skype does, plus communities that are already there. I mean, yeah, they had Mixer, and they messed that up, and then they just couldn't compete anymore, so they just, yeah.
I mean, Mixer is one of them. The other big one I would say is actually Skype.
No, Skype's not their fault, though. I think they bought Skype, and then Skype just didn't innovate. Like, how much is that? Skype's also a company. Like, Skype...
Hey, I didn't need Skype to innovate. I need Skype to work, or to not update every 2 to 3 days. Like,
I agree with that.
Like, that's my bigger issue, is like, Skype always kind of works okay, but if you look at, like, the before Microsoft acquisition of Skype and the after, it's like, what the fuck happened? Like,
yeah, I mean, we use Skype still to record the show.
I mean, like,
because
it works.
The only reason I don't is because a couple of times that I remember using Discord now, obviously I haven't tried in a while. The last times that I remember using Discord when we were doing the wrestling show, it did something weird with the Spreaker Studio. So, like, that's why I've never tried again. But I've been using Discord now that, we did it with Keith's show, and it seems to work fine. Like, and then Discord has that Nitro package, which, to be fair, there's nothing in that Nitro package that I think is really worth it. Especially unless you're like a streamer or something like that. But like, that's something that could be put into Game Pass, I guess, to make it a little bit more enticing. I think
I can see why Microsoft would want Discord, because that's not really the issue. Yeah. But my issue is, like, the minute that happens, Discord is likely going to turn to shit.
I don't think that that's necessarily the truth. I think it's also they could be protecting it from, like, say, a Google or one of these other places buying it that could really just do nothing with it. Like,
that's the thing. I want them to do nothing with it. I don't need them to innovate and screw it all, mess it all up.
But how do we know it's going to screw it up, though? It's like,
because the two examples of Skype and Mixer are good, good, recent, relevant examples.
I don't think Mixer was more of the whole, like, I think Microsoft just saw themselves pouring money into something that was never going to beat Twitch. So, like, why bother? Is probably what they thought. It's
like, that's the thing, is like, I mean, Discord is ubiquitous in the realm of, communities and stuff like that. Like, they try to buy Mixer and present, it's going to be the competition to Twitch. It's like, no, Twitch, that's all people need.
Yeah, I mean, they couldn't even beat YouTube.
But here's the thing, is, like, back in the day, Skype was all people needed for, like, conferencing. And they bought it, and it turned to garbage.
I mean, but then Microsoft also, like, has Teams. So,
which
like,
also not good. Like,
no, it's not great. Like, but I'm just saying, like, I don't know. I think Discord I think it's more of them trying to save Discord from being bought by another company that they don't want to have to compete with.
But, like, I would rather most any other company buy Discord, not Microsoft. Except for, like, the only company worse would be, like, EA or Activision.
I don't think it'd be a big tech company that buys them, I think.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Like, but the reason why they went to TikTok is because that's literally the only other company, I think, besides Twitch that can compete with YouTube.
Yeah.
And obviously to make it American so that Trump couldn't do his, we're gonna ban it from,
that worked out well, didn't it?
Well, we know what happened. I'm saying, like, I don't know, is putting that in the Game Pass something that's gonna make people buy Game Pass? I don't think so. I just don't see, other than just, okay, we want something that's the leader, so we don't have to do a whole lot with it. Like, I don't really see what's the point.
Yeah.
Like, that was my hope when on the, on the Spectator mode. Was like, I don't see the point of doing this and then owning it, unless you're hearing that Sony or Google or Amazon want to buy it.
No, the reason I could see them buying it, and, like, the obvious reason is because they could integrate it better into, like, Xbox.
Yeah, I mean, I get it, but it's like, none of the consoles have, like, Discord in there right now.
Right.
So,
I mean, I mean, if they bought it, they'd never have Discord and PS5. But,
well, yeah, I mean, I guess that's the thing they could say, right, is either Sony has to pay us to use Discord, or we're the only place where you can use Discord in your console.
But, I guess my point, 2 points is, I think if they buy Discord, it will become a worse product. And I think it will just drive people back to MIRC.
Right, or Slack or whatever other thing. it's out there. But
Yeah.
I don't know. I think it could just be Microsoft also just floating an offer out there to dissuade people. But I mean, there's a reason why Discord is also putting out feelers, right? The owners want to move on, or they don't feel like
if they just want to get out
anything
of it, sure.
else.
I don't fault them for trying to take the golden parachute and bouncing, but
Yeah, they probably feel like there's nothing else. There's not a whole lot else they can add to it. So
a dating application that'll always help.
Oh no, please don't. So we don't need that. We already have enough with the things. So let's. We already have enough with people trying to use LinkedIn as a dating app. That's enough. I would say LinkedIn is actually positive. That has improved since it's been owned by Microsoft. But yeah. So let's move along to a Sony thing, because remember, Sony has said that they are trying to do a lot more with their properties as far as other entertainment mediums. Last of Us is filming in Calgary, Alberta, Canada right now, or going to be. And so Sony Pictures has also greenlit a live-action movie of Ghost of Tsushima. Not surprising, it was already kind of very movie type anyway. So this is being developed with John Wick's chat. I don't know how to say the last name. Stahelski.
Yeah, I'll go with that.
And Sucker Punch is going to executive produce, which that makes sense. So this is cool. They're also partnering with 8711 Entertainment. So yeah, I never got to play Ghost of Tsushima yet. But Uncharted is wrapping up, and if it doesn't get delayed again, coming out February 11th of next year. What do you think, as somebody that did play Ghost?
I mean, it's it's too bad Kurosawa's dead, but, I mean, it's very movie kind of with some of the shots, but I don't know, kind of story of, Ghost of Tsushima that interesting. So that's gonna be kind of the weird,
there are people that that's such a weird thing for this game. I saw a lot of people that were voting it as their game of the year because they love the story so much. And then there's folks like you and Jens and Randy that just were kind of cool on it.
I like the gameplay. I think it's a good game. It was not my game of the year for damn sure, but the story is so rote of your uncle who trained you turned out to be kind of a jackass, and the bad guy is so minimalized in that game. He shows up at the end of every chapter break, and that's about it.
Yeah.
This guy's who cares?
I guess that's the way they could. I mean, it's kind of expand on some of that stuff.
It's kind of like an Assassin's Creed game. I actually been playing Valhalla again. I got back into that, but the bad guys in most Assassin's Creed games really aren't there for a lot of the game. So you're dealing with smaller lieutenants or the minions of these guys.
Yeah.
And it's I mean, okay, I guess, but this isn't that interesting in the long run. I mean, I'm sure they could bang out a 2-hour samurai movie, no problem, but.
Yeah. It's not like they don't have a bunch of templates to go off of in their game as well. So.
Yeah.
We'll see. We'll see if there's anything that they're going to expand upon from the game, or if it's.
It'll be great when they cast Keanu as the main guy.
Oh, please don't do the Tom Cruise thing.
Well, I mean, at least Keanu's part Asian, so that's a feather in his cap.
I mean, come on. Sony's right there. I know that they're based in America now. It's
You didn't like The Last Samurai?
It's fine. It's not.
Just make a Last Samurai movie or sequel.
I can't wait. If they do that, I can't wait to hear everybody jumping on them on Twitter for that. So
yeah.
Back for Blood has been delayed to October 12th, 2021. It was supposed to come out in June, so there's another big game that's been pushed. This is at least been pushed back, and not all the way till next year. But man, that's a big delay. Good for Turtle Rock though, that another game that's making sure they don't turn into the next Cyberpunk. And especially one that I think after we saw they had a nice little preview at Future Game Show, and that kind of sold me on that game. So also Future Game Show sold me on, I think I am gonna drop the money on Returnal.
Yeah.
That game, I think it looked really good on that show.
Well, I was the one who's already into that game, so.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's a big, that's a game for you. It's a roguelike and
sci-fi. So
yeah, it's sci-fi, and Well, but I like the bullet hell aspect, so that's like some of the Housemarque stuff coming in there. And I think it's going to be a good one for sure. And, you know, I think Back 4 Blood is going to be, it looks like it's going to be the Left 4 Dead. Everybody wants it to be.
Yeah, I just never got into that game, or that franchise, so I looked at it and I was like, yep, it's one of those, and not for me.
Yeah, and so definitely, we'll see. But I think this is good. And they take your time, make sure you make a good game, and make sure, you know, your servers are ready. You don't want to be dealing with that, like what's happening with Outriders right now, where they even had to go to the length of turning everything off and then bringing everything back up slowly to the point where they brought back everybody but the U.S. because the U.S. was such a heavy populated, thanks to Game Pass, which is funny because it's like, they announced the Game Pass deal, and then, look, fair, it's more Square's end than People Can Fly's end, but it's like, you knew as soon as you made the Game Pass deal what was going to happen. There was going to be way more people that were all of a sudden going to try this game that would have never bought it. So, you know, it's just... Yeah,
it's a free, I mean, imagine if, like, Anthem was free to play at launch or whatever.
Yeah, it's huge for games like this, and that's good that they got that and they're getting that attention, and it sucks that they're having to deal with like the bad end of that. For the people that did buy it, I'm sure that they feel terrible right now. But don't go attack these marketing people and like these people that are not working on that at all. It's because they're the public faces. They have nothing to do with that.
Right.
Some of the people that just have nothing else to do. Just like I'm constantly seeing now after the MLB The Show 21 announcement of, don't buy anything involving Sony. Don't support them. It's like, guys, stop it. Just stop it. Like, Sony didn't really have a lot of control with that either. It's like, but anyway, my whole point in this was that it's good. Good for Back 4 Blood and Better Rock to delay their game.
Yeah.
So, and that goes along with all the other delays that have been happening this year. So, get ready. Again, they're not done. So, I'm sad that we don't have Jens here.
No, I was gonna mention a big delay was the Analog Pocket.
Yeah, well, yeah, Analog Pocket, and then we talked about the Gotham Knights one as well, recently. Yeah. So, Binary Domain, the director, Daisuke Sato, says he did want to remaster Binary Domain, which is another game that is stuck on the PS3, even though you can't get it on 360, and it is not backwards compatible right now. So you can't
but it's also
play it.
It's on PC also.
Yeah, it's on PC, but I'm just saying, it's like if you're a console person, it'll be stuck on PS3 when that store goes down, and then 360 is not compatible yet. Surprised that they haven't tried to get that compatible with, you know, all the great work they are doing with Yakuza, and that's actually on sale right now as part of that Microsoft sale that's going on, so if you ever wanted to buy those games, now would be a good time, if you have an Xbox.
That's because Binary Domain isn't that good.
Well, hey, you know, whatever. It's part of that studio's legacy, so, you know, he did express a desire talking to Gameblog, that he wants to revisit that title, and, you know, he wants to be able to remake it, and have it, and just, like, show that they do other genres besides the action RPG, or the, well, basically, because basically Yakuza is a beat-em-up action RPG, honestly. So, regardless of whether you're the actual RPG part or not. But yeah, I mean, I think I've played a total of, I don't know, I want to say like an hour of Binary Domain. You definitely should go check, Randy and Jens talk about it on Chapter Select. Those were some fun episodes. But, which you can get on the W10 network right now. I mean, did you ever check out Binary Domain?
I played the original PC version, that had no good controller support.
Oh.
And it had, the microphone system didn't work.
That's not great.
Yeah. It's like, press button 4 to shoot. And I'm like, I have a 360 controller. Like, there's no button 4 in this thing, dude. Like, I think they did patch it in later, like, you know, to have like X input, but like, that was my defining memory of that game. I'm like, this is not good.
That sucks.
Kind of like Saints Row 2. Like, the PC version of that was, let's just say, messy.
Well said. Alright, so before we get into other stuff, I meant to do this before we got to the Binary Domain, but I forgot. So, Amazon Music Unlimited. I have been using it lately a little bit more, and definitely just being able to turn it on, listen to whatever I want. They have so many different musical artists on there. Of course, like I mentioned, for music, video game music. Definitely should go check that out.
Yep.
Use our link, which helps you get a free 30-day trial. And you can check out if you want or not. Look, I get it. Everybody has Spotify or has some other service that you already use. But why not try this out for 30 days and help us out as well? Go to getamazonmusic.com/WTM Network. Of course, you can also just hit that link in the description as well. And that will help you help us if you go through the full sign-up process, which please do. And you can just listen to some great music, and especially if you have like any kind of Amazon device, like the Alexa or Echo or whatever that you use to say, hey, Alexa, play this, you can just get that, like, I think it's $4 a month, which that's really cheap, to enjoy an unlimited amount of music. And, I mean, already just Amazon Music itself has a great selection when you just unlock that wall again, it's a wall you don't want to have to deal with, but it's unlock that Amazon Unlimited wall, and you get a ton more stuff, and it's all great. And if you're a music lover, this is something you definitely need to invest in. And again, why not try it for 30 days? And if you don't like it, you can always hit that cancel button, and hey, at least you helped. So I appreciate that.
Yep.
Alright, so going on to, you use Spotify, right?
No.
No, you don't use any of that stuff?
No, I have a old iPod 5th generation classic, so it's a little...
Look at the old man over here, still with the iPod.
Well, to be fair to me, I did upgrade the 60 gigabyte hard drive to like a 512 gigabyte SD card.
You can use that? You can put it in there? No.
Yeah. Yep.
How did you upgrade the iPod?
Because it's the best music player.
Oh. No, I'm just saying, like, how did you upgrade it?
You can, you have to like buy a card, and you just install it, and I mean, you have to like take it apart. Like, you remove the hard drive, and then you just slide in this card and a few SD cards.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
There you go. You can just put whatever you want on there. Okay. Well, moving on here, Alan Wake 2 has been, I mean, this is not the first time Remedy's done this, but, Alan Wake 2 is being teased again by Remedy. This time to be developed by Epic Games.
Well, published by Epic.
Published. So, they won't hit a certain store that Marc doesn't like.
I imagine not for a while.
Probably not. So Jeff Grubb, who is somebody that makes a lot of rumors and a lot of times hits on them, says that he'd been hearing that Remedy was going to make Alan Wake 2 with Epic, and that it should contain a lot of the stuff that fans wanted. Yes, because Alan Wake is great, and we should definitely get that Alan Wake 2. So definitely there was apparently a bidding war, but Epic has the best deal. And so, yeah, I mean, they already had a deal with Control.
Yeah.
With Epic, so, I mean, they were independent for that, but this doesn't surprise me. I mean, Remedy, if they can get the best deal being an independent studio, I mean, why not? And again, it's just a launcher if you're on PS. Now, what are they going to do with consoles? Does that mean that Sony's going to have exclusivity for a while because they have that deal with Epic, or what does that mean?
No, I'm sure it comes to both.
Would be cool if it came to both. I mean, it'd be cooler if it showed up in Game Pass or whatever, but Remedy won't do that because it took them forever to get control in the Game Pass, I think. So, I think it's just as long as it comes to consoles, I'm fine with it. I'd hate to see it locked on PC because it's an Epic thing, but...
I seriously doubt that.
Yeah, I'm just saying. Hopefully Epic would not do it. Oh, I mean, it would kind of go against their policy of, like, they want to work with everybody and...
Except Apple.
Technically, they want to work with Apple, they're just not going to let Apple fleece them, so...
You can fleece them, it's what everyone pays. It's not like...
Well, hey, whatever, if they want to get around it, then get around it, Like, it's the same thing with Xbox, like, they're not going to let Game Pass be on there, then...
Apple doesn't fleece, if by that metric, Sony and Microsoft are fleecing them also.
Well, Sony, like, that's the thing though, like, I think it's more of like every time, I think it's every transaction though, right? It's like, it's not just, okay, the game, it's every transaction that you do on that store, Apple takes a cut. So,
but I think it's the same way with consoles as well. It's always
the
at 30%
virtual,
cut.
the virtual stuff.
Yeah.
Sony's taking. I don't know. I don't know what their big thing with why if it's the same, and then Google took it off their store for a while, so
It's still off, but yeah.
Yeah, we'll see. Which one's going to come back first? Fortnite or Cyberpunk to the Sony store? We'll see. To the PlayStation.
I imagine Cyberpunk because that's a quality issue, not a legal issue.
Yeah, I mean that new patch is supposed to be coming soon. We'll see if
it's already out. I mean, because my PS5 keeps bugging me to install it, but I don't have the hard drive space right now. Sorry.
Yeah, that's one of the things with the PS5. You gotta really think about that hard drive space. So, we'll see what happens there. Speaking of Square Enix, I should have talked about this when we were talking about Outriders and all such. So Square Enix really removed Legacy of Kain Soul Reaver off Steam, because they're gonna be doing some updates on it. It's still on GOG though. I don't know if that means they're getting any kind of remaster.
I mean, I doubt it, but what would be nice would be controller support.
Yeah, let's at least see controller support. We definitely should. I mean, this has been a game that people have really wanted another installment of.
Yeah.
For a long time. So.
The last two things where they made that horrible Nazgûl multiplayer thing.
Oh Lord, yeah.
And it's like, why did you do this? It was like the same thing with that Hong Kong Triad
Sleeping
Wars.
Dogs, yeah. Triad, yeah.
It's like, what the fuck are you guys doing?
That thankfully that just fell flat on its face.
Sort of Nazgûl. I mean, I actually think I played that for preview or something, or they gave me a code for it, and I'm like, this is awful. And then they tried to bring it back, Legacy of Kain, a decade ago, as a third-person action game. It looked a lot like, what is it? It looked a lot like Shadow Mordor.
Yeah.
But it just fell through, or they just didn't want to, invest all right, and I was like, all right, cool. But yeah, Legacy of Kain is one of those, it was never a popular franchise, but it's one of those ones that people really liked back in the day. Or at least that first game. And the later games were of middling quality, let's just say.
Yeah, let's hope that...
Defiance is okay, but Legacy of Kain, Soul Reaver 2, and Legacy of Kain 2, not great.
Well, let's hope maybe somebody will...
Bring back Amy Hennig.
Decided to just do something with those games.
Yeah, bring back Amy Hennig. That's all I can say.
Probably not going to happen, but we'll see. So Hironobu Sakaguchi, of course, he is the Final Fantasy. He is the creator of Final Fantasy. Is obviously it's already out there on Apple Arcade. Our Fantation, which is his next, or it could be his last project. What sucks is it is tied to Apple Arcade, so who knows when we're going to be able to play it. Will they release it on Switch or something?
Yeah, I mean, never.
I mean, there's been a lot of games that do come over eventually. So, but we'll see if Sakaguchi ever feels like doing that. It's not like the Switch is not selling over there or anything.
Right.
So he did speak to VGC this week, and he was talking about how this might be his last game. Obviously, Nobu Matsu. Also, we talked about on the previous show or show before that.
Yeah.
He sees how his days are starting to become numbered as far as actually working, and he says that he had approached Fantasia as if it was his final full title, and that there are some episodes that are going to be coming with that game, but he doesn't know what he's going to be doing afterwards. Yeah, that's crazy to think. The thing is that he's been doing these mobile games lately, and I think for Japan, this is great, right? Japan is, they love their mobile games, and I think there's a lot of people here that love mobile games and around the world, but these, full-fledged games, you don't see, a lot of traction with, right? It's usually something that has, a gacha, or, Candy Crush, or whatever, so...
Well, people, Americans generally like simple or easy to play, not overly complex mobile games compared to, the Japanese.
Right. They do a lot more things with Switch or anything mobile, so, Monster Hunter Rise has been selling like crazy.
Yeah.
Over there. There was a company that let their employees, there's so many people that asked off for work that they just let everybody be off that day. So, that's cool. man, it sucks, but I think for me, the second story that he also brought up in this VGC interview is that he has no interest in remastering or remaking Lost Odyssey, Blue Dragon, or Last Story. Man, like,
see, yeah, my point to that would be twofold. One, why'd you make 3 Terra Battle games if you want to make something new? And the second point is, okay, you don't want to make it. How about you give it to someone who does?
I mean, Lost Odyssey remake, or not, doesn't even need a remake, just remaster it would be amazing.
Yeah.
Last Story getting to be on something besides the freaking Wii would be great. Like, could you put it on the Switch or something? Damn. Like, it'd be nice to be able to play that game and not be stuck on a system that you can't own. Like, at least Blue Dragon and Lost Odyssey, they're dared in digital form. You can buy them. I bought them for $5 each on a sale. Like, it's not like they're hard to get, but it's just like, especially with Last Story, like, come on. Like,
that came out in 2008. And like, that's a game or 2007 actually. That's a game that definitely shows its age. Like,
yeah, so freaking Wii. I mean, they remade.
Oh, you meant Last Story, right?
Yeah, Last Story. Yeah.
Oh, that was 2011, so that was a decade ago.
Well, still, it's like still the same around the time of Xenoblade, and Xenoblade got remade and remastered, whatever. Like, so that'd be cool if that happened. I mean, I know Blue Dragon is not a game that everybody likes.
Yeah, so, it's kind of like a joke, but it's non-offensive, let's say, or it's not like terrible.
And I mean, like Lost Odyssey, a lot of people like that game.
I'm one of them.
Yeah, and I like it too. And there's a lot of people that have not even tried it, and I think he could really get a lot out of remake it. But I know it's also a long game, and I get it. That's a lot of resources you're putting in for somebody that's 58 and feels like he's.
Well, that's the thing. If he doesn't want to do it, I'm sure other people do. Like, he doesn't have to do it. Like, look at Mass Effect. Like, some of the same people are sort of BioWare, but like the main guys who made that game.
Yeah. And that's
like,
something too.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, like, Unreal should pick up that game and go, alright, we're gonna, or Epic, because, hey, it's on the Unreal Engine, so, hey, here it is in the latest Unreal Engine, we fixed up a lot of the graphical issues and, speed, and here you go.
Yeah, I mean, I get it, what he's saying, is that there is basically no difference in doing a remake compared to a new game, that it requires basically the same resources, and that, he'd rather just make another original story or whatever.
Like, I think there's a obviously bigger built-in audience with a remaster.
Yeah, but I think I get him on that base level if he wants to.
And also, like, his last, I mean, look at his, like, past decade of, mobile crap. It's like, I mean, Terra Battle's fine, but it's not for American audiences. That's for damn sure. And, yeah, so it's like, his slide into obscurity is kind of depressing when you think about it.
Yeah, I mean, it's sad, but hey, you know what?
I mean, yeah, I'd rather see, like, Last Story, or especially Lost Odyssey, rather than Fantasia. I don't care how good a mobile game it is, because it's a mobile game, so I pretty much automatically check out. I
mean, I'd love to play Fantasia, just don't stick it on Apple Arcade. Like, I'm not gonna buy an iPhone for that. It's like, no. But people that do get to enjoy it, I hope you like it, and it's good, So, last two things here. Reggie is done with the GameStop board. I feel like that's him being smart and getting out before things start to go south at some point, because that stock thing didn't do much for them.
Which they will, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, look, the pandemic really helped GameStop kind of stay afloat for another year. Like we talked about, they kind of got rid of a lot of their back stock. I think once people start going to stores regularly and you start becoming a little bit more normal, when a lot more places get the vaccine, which PAX East got canceled because it's too soon. Yeah. But we'll see if, PAX West is going to happen in September. I mean, there's still a lot of places around the world, like Europe some places are going back into lockdown again because they still don't have enough of the vaccine. Right. The cases are going up here, but you're getting, a lot more people vaccinated constantly. So it's not that big deal. But still, I think you want to err on the safe side. That being said, I think Reggie's he's doing a lot of things, and he has that foundation that he does now. I don't see the point of, I think he kind of sees okay, let's get out of here before this is.
Before the house of cards crumbles.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, and even I think, GameStop themselves said that he's going to retire from the board in 2021, and that they expect turnover among our board members that disrupt operations and strategic focus and everything. It's like, well, no, duh. Whatever strategic focus y'all did have is going to get disrupted, but yeah, don't blame Richie at all. Get out of here, man. Save yourself.
This is what happens when the internet really gets behind something.
Yep.
It turns to dust.
Well, it's just like, it's not like GameStop really changed anything. It's the same company at the store level.
Yeah, that's the thing, yeah.
They're closing those stores. It's only a matter of time before, I mean, like, they are not going to get any more consoles than they were getting than any of these other stores. I mean, like, so, okay, maybe aside from, like, people that are going nuts trying to buy PS3 games after the store closes, like, there's so many people buying digitally now.
Yeah.
I just don't see how GameStop really just stays afloat.
I mean, I think they could, but it'd be too hard for them to, like, definitely do it.
I mean, like, their stuff with their redesign their stores, I think, is a great idea. It's just, I don't know how much of that is really gonna, move the needle.
But they did it. They did it like they only tested it out. Like, I don't know about your GameStops, but
they couldn't go through with it because they had to close the stores for the pandemic. So
right,
And the last thing here is Nintendo. I talked about some of this already, but of course, Mario died or didn't die on the 31st, when Mario 3D All-Stars could no longer be sold in stores, or, well, I don't know what they're doing about the stores. There was supposedly rumors going around that Nintendo was going to recall them. I don't know if they'd
I could see it from, like, maybe, like, Best Buy or Walmart, but, like, a ton of mom and pop shops have, like, copies of it.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be, I don't think it's going to have a long tail physically, because they're not going to make any more. So,
right.
Whatever physical versions are out there, if you really want it physically, or you want it period.
Did you get it physically or digitally?
No, I got it digital.
Okay.
You can't buy it digitally anymore. Let's see how long that lasts. I still think that we're going to see it coming back, and that it's going to be sold separately, and they're going to be more expensive sold separately.
Well, along with Galaxy 2 finally.
That'd be nice if they did that.
Yeah.
If that's what they're waiting on, to just release all those together, then cool. There's still some other Mario games that could really, that'd be nice if you get Super Nintendo RPG, or the Super Mario RPG, but they could also just put that on the Switch Online, whatever. But we'll see. We'll see what they decide to do there. But supposedly Nintendo did this very much in the way that we thought they did, right? They wanted people to buy this collection. And they did. I think it was like, how many? It was a ridiculous amount. It was so just 5 days ago, Super Mario 3D All-Stars sales spiked 276% just in the UK. In the last week. This is what they wanted. They wanted the spike in sales at the beginning and at the end, and in the middle of people just buying this because they were so scared it was never going to come back. And they got that. Right? Is it a great business practice? No. This shouldn't be happening with digital games. That's sort of supposed to be a way of preserving them, but
Nintendo ran out of CD keys for Mario 35th anniversary edition.
Yeah, the thing is, I get it from their perspective, right? They say that when a remaster comes out, there's a lot of people that kind of put it on a wish list and then they don't ever buy it, hoping that it goes on a sale. And Nintendo is smart because they know that they don't put their games on sale a lot. So if you do this, it makes people go, oh crap, I gotta buy it.
Yeah.
Because if you wait around waiting for it to go to $45 or $40, it's never going to happen because it's going to be at $60 until it gets taken off. Now, the thing I will say, I don't know about you, if this is a way to get other games remastered or remade, and they're going to do this limited quantity thing, and that's the only way that they're going to make that happen, I'd rather they show up than not ever come out.
Well, it depends on how good the remaster is and what what the games are.
Right, this was not well done.
Great.
This was just ported and, hey, here are the ports of these games.
If anything, I think the Mario Sunshine was kind of fucked up.
Yeah, and what sucks is they know that the only way you can get these games now, other than the Super Mario 64 DS version, is getting them physically. And finding them physically at this point is really difficult, or they're high priced or whatever. So it's like, oh, you get them all in one collection. Cool. Oh yeah, you're gonna pay whatever we want, and we're gonna make them come out in whatever way we want because we can. We're Nintendo. I don't know. I just hope that, which should be even worse if they, could you imagine if they released them all separately and then they're better versions separately? Like,
I doubt they'd do that. I mean, they just roll into them patch like the current one.
I hope so. I hope that that's not what they would do. But man, sometimes with Nintendo, they make you think the worst. But yeah. Anything else?
I can pre-order Final Fantasy VII, the Yuffie thing.
Yeah, you can do that. So, yeah, that being said, as far as games coming out this week, I already told you about Our World Soulstorm coming to PS Plus. That Star Wars Republic Commando, remaster is coming, in a few days as well, if you're looking to, forward to that. That Cozy Grove, simulation game that a few people have been talking about is coming as well. All these, Neon Falcon games are coming to Stadia. I don't know why, but sure.
Because of people demand it, man, not obviously.
East 8, 9, Trails of Cold Steel 3 and 4 are all coming to Stadia. And that Poison Control game from NS America, which looks kind of decent. It's like a action RPG shooter is coming out on the 13th. So, yeah, and that Saga Frontier Remastered, which is one of the sagas I think a lot of people are looking forward to. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's that. I mean, this is still kind of skimp. Gonna get that Nier Replicant pretty soon.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, you and Jens are gonna be loving that, I'm sure. So.
I mean, I'm sure he bought the $150 special edition of that thing.
I'm on board. Alright, well, and, that's all for this week. I appreciate everybody listening. Thank you for joining us. If you like what you hear, of course, you can hit subscribe on Video Games to the Max, the feed, or you can just subscribe to the whole thing, W2 Network. You get all the stuff that is on our network. The Radlich and Broadcasting folks are now even putting their stuff from way back in the day. They're coming, and whenever it's appropriate, like with Pacific Rim, this was like their Pacific Rim week. They brought back some of their older content to go along with some of the newer stuff that they were reviewing. To review the first and second movie, and then also the anime and comics and everything. So hopefully you get to see a lot more of that. Of course, our wrestling stuff. Chapter Select, Jens and Randy talked about The Pedestrian, which is a cool little indie game that you should definitely go listen to them talk about. And yeah, so we'll be back next week. And until then, everybody, later.